One of these tools costs $19 a month, and the other one can run you over $10,000 a year once you add everything up that you actually need. But both promise to build you a better lead list, and only one of them is right for most teams. Browse AI and Clay get compared constantly, but they're not really competing. They solve different halves of the same problem, and using the wrong one wastes so much time than it saves. I'm Lillian from SaaS Report, so let's get into it. Now, before we compare them head to head, we need to talk about what these tools actually do, because a lot of people put them in the same category, and they really shouldn't be. Browse AI is a web scraping tool. The idea is simple. You point it at any website, train a bot to extract the data you want, and it pulls that information automatically on a schedule. No code needed. You could point it at a directory of tech companies, a LinkedIn search result, a job board, a G2 category page, and so much more. And it will pull names, emails, job titles, company info, and whatever is publicly visible on that page. It runs those extractions in the background and delivers the results straight to a Google Sheet or a CRM. And it's trusted by 250,000 users, and it's been really well received for how easy it is to set up. The whole point is that a non-technical person can be up and running in under an hour. Now, Clay, on the other hand, is a completely different type of tool. It's not a scraper. It's a data enrichment and workflow platform. You bring a list of companies or contacts into Clay, then Clay goes out and enriches each one by querying up to 150 different data providers simultaneously. That's tools like Apollo, Clearbit, Crunchbase, LinkedIn, Lusha, and dozens more. Clay's system is called waterfall enrichment, meaning that it tries the first provider, and if it doesn't find what you need, it then tries the next one and the next one until it fills the field. And the result is a far more complete and accurate profile than you get from a single data source. Clay also has an AI agent called Claygent, which can do things like research a company's recent news, summarize a prospect's LinkedIn profile, and write a personalized first line for a cold email, all automatically at scale. So here's the key distinction. Browse AI pulls fresh data from the web. Clay enriches and layers data from existing sources, and they're solving different parts of the same problem. Now let's talk about where each tool genuinely shines. Browse AI is at its best when you need data that doesn't exist in any standard database. If you want to build a list of every SaaS company that just posted a new job in their sales department, that's a signal that a company is growing and likely to buy new tools. You can set up Browse AI to scrape that from job boards every week and deliver it to your sheet automatically. And if you want to pull every company listed in a specific G2 category, or every business in a niche directory, or monitor a competitor's pricing page for changes, Browse AI does all of that without you touching a single line of code. And it's also really strong for real-time monitoring. So you set it up one time and it keeps running in the background. Your list stays fresh because it's pulling from live pages and not a static database that gets updated monthly. The other big thing Browse AI has going for it is its price. Plans start at $19 per month on the starter tier. That's a very accessible entry point compared to most tools in this space. And there's a free tier to test before you even commit. If you want to try Browse AI for yourself, the link is down below in the description. Now, Clay's strength is depth and not width. Where Browse AI gives you a list, Clay gives you a profile. For each person on the list, Clay can layer in their verified email, direct phone number, company funding stage, tech stack, recent hiring activity, LinkedIn summary, news mentions, and so much more, all from multiple sources cross-referenced against each other. The waterfall model means you're not stuck with just one provider's gaps. If Apollo doesn't have the email, Clearbit tries. If Clearbit comes up empty, the next source picks up. And for teams doing account-based outreach, where you're going after a specific list of high-value companies and you need to know everything about them before you reach out, Clay is genuinely hard to beat. The quality and completeness of the data it returns is a level above what you get from pulling from a single list database. And Claygent takes this further. Instead of just filling in fields, it can research a company, find a relevant trigger like a recent product launch or a leadership change, and write a personalized opening line for a cold email. That's the kind of research that would normally take a rep 20 minutes per prospect, automated at scale. Now, neither of these tools is a complete solution on its own, and it's worth knowing the limitations before you buy. Browse AI has one real ceiling. It can pull data that's publicly visible on a web page. So if a contact's email isn't on the page you're scraping, you're not getting it. You'll usually end up with a company name or a job title, maybe a LinkedIn URL, but not the actual email address you need to reach that person. That means Browse AI typically works best as the first step in your list building process. You use it to find and identify the right companies and contacts, then you enrich them with another tool to get the contact details. It also struggles with highly dynamic or JavaScript heavy pages. Some websites just aren't easy to scrape, and you'll run into limitations depending on what site that you're trying to pull from. Now, Clay's limitations are different, and they mostly come down to cost and complexity. Clay just overhauled its pricing in 2026, so new customers are now on 2 tiers, launched at $185 $100 a month and growth at $495 per month. And that's before you factor in the additional costs that most comparisons skip. Clay often requires LinkedIn Sales Navigator on top of that, which is usually around $100 per month per user. So you'll likely need a separate email sequencing tool since Clay doesn't send emails natively, and CRM integration, depending on your plan, may cost extra. When you add all of that up, the total cost of ownership for Clay can run anywhere from $4,800 to well over $10,000 a year for a small team. The other challenge is the learning curve. Most users report it takes 2 to 4 weeks before you're building effective workflows in Clay. The platform is incredibly flexible, but that flexibility comes with complexity. Credits get burned on failed lookups, and the dual credit system, which splits into data credits and actions, can catch new users off guard. And customer support, while the Slack community is helpful, isn't always fast when something breaks in a complex workflow. So here's an honest breakdown of which tool that you should use. Browse AI is the right tool if you need to build lists from sources that aren't in any standard database. Niche directories, job boards, specific web pages, competitor sites, real-time signals. If you're a small team or a solo operator with a tight budget, and if you're not technical and need to be up and running, or if your use case is primarily monitoring, keeping track of changes on specific sites over time, Browse AI is definitely the right tool for you. Now, Clay is the right tool if you already have a list of target accounts and you need to make each record as complete as possible before you reach out. If your outreach is highly personalized and you need signals, triggers, and context for every prospect, and if you have a RevOps person or someone technical who can build and manage workflows, or if you're running an ABM motion where depth matters more than volume, Clay is definitely the right one for you. But for a lot of teams, the real answer is actually both. Use Browse AI to find and identify the right targets from the web, then bring that list into Clay to enrich and build out the full profile. They actually complement each other more than they compete. So here's the bottom line. Browse AI and Clay aren't really the same tool. Browse AI pulls fresh data from the web, so it's your list builder. Clay enriches and layers that data, so it's your profile builder. The best lead list workflow typically uses both. If you're just getting started with outbound and you need a simple and affordable way to pull targeted leads from specific sources, start with Browse AI. Now, if you're running a more sophisticated outbound motion and you need the richest possible data on every prospect before you reach out, Clay is worth the investment. Both tools have free tiers so you can test them before you commit. Links are in the description. You can grab both, run a small list through each one, and see which one actually fits the way you work. I'm Lillian from SaaS Report. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.